Hello YouTube, it's androidmafia here, bringing you the last video in this week's series of taking a look at Foxiflea, also known as red-white cycling. If you're not familiar with the deck already, it piggybacks off of this one card here, Zenith Flare, in an effort to close games out in a powerful way. We deal X damage to any target, gain X life, or X is the number of cards with cycling in your graveyard. The deck does not solely rely on this. In fact, there are many games I win without it, but this is sort of the card that pushed it into my field of view in the first place. Many of the games are won by a turn 1 Flourishing Fox that gets a +1/+1 counter every time you cycle. The deck is full of 1-mana cyclers, so a turn 1 Fox can grow very big, very fast, and get in for lots of damage. As you can imagine, in a format with things like Brazen Borrowers and Teferi Time Raveler, and even the occasional Unsummon, as you'll see in this video, Flourishing Fox can be underwhelming in certain matchups, but in the matchups where it is good, it crushes. Other cards that are notable are Valiant Rescuer. This is great for stalling for time against some of the more aggressive decks that do not have access to evasion. So, you know, I played against a few decks, but there wasn't a lot in the way of trampling, so getting a bunch of 1/1 tokens out there to get in the way is a great way to stall out so you can get to a big flare. Sometimes it's also a great way to get a little bit aggressive yourself. If I have 10 1/1 tokens, I'm going to turn them sideways eventually. Against some of the slower, grindier matchups with less spot removal, Dryneth Stinger tends to be very powerful as well. There are a couple of games where I piggyback off of this. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's a match where I drop 2 of these and I end up actually just cycling like 6 or 7 cards in a row, maybe more, and almost wipe their entire life total out with just 2 Stingers. Go for Blood, not always being cast, but every once in a while a big fox can take down an opposing creature and get in for some damage. And then of course we're not casting Memory Leaks or these other 2 blue spells because that's not what we're trying to do. Now if you're building this for yourself, I would recommend considering 4 Sacred Foundries in the mix here, but I avoid Fabled Passages very intentionally because I do not like tapped lands. There are a number of games where I need to go off on that turn 4 shot with Zenith Flare. I'm trying to top deck that land to win, but I need to be cycling the cards up to that point. Even though Fabled Passage will let you cast Zenith Flare on turn 4, if I need to get the cyclers off on turns 2 and 3, a tapped land is going to slow me down. A hand that's like 1 Plains land and 2 Fabled Passages means I do almost nothing that whole game. So I don't like Fabled Passage in here. I'm a little iffy because it's such an aggressive format that we're in. The Shocklands, I don't bother crafting and running them. In fact, I only have a single Sacred Foundry if we were to go look at my inventory. I actually really like this spread of lands here. You almost always want to see a Plains in your opening hand, so I do have a little bit more of those. You might even be able to get away with cutting 1 more Mountain, but that feels a little dangerous because you need to be able to cast Zenith Flare as well in a lot of games. But the most common permanent cards that I will cast are Flourishing Fox and Valiant Rescuer. I often like to piggyback off of a Stinger as well, but I just think the Plains land is more important early, but you need a high enough density of red lands to get to the flare. So if there's any questions about the mana base, hopefully that addressed them, but if not, drop a comment down below, let me know what you think. This deck is no surprise to anybody. If you're wondering about running a companion, this is just a free card in this deck. I've mentioned that in previous videos. Just have it there as an option. If you never cast it, then it didn't hurt you. If you do end up casting it, well, maybe it helped. So there you have it. That's the deck list if you hadn't seen it before. If this is your first time coming to a cycling deck, I hope you enjoy what you see. Be mindful that there are some microphone issues right now where there's some odd feedback throughout. This was from a live stream and I didn't have anybody from chat tell me otherwise, so I edited out as much dead time as I could to minimize some of that, but you need to turn the volume down just a little bit so that you can maybe avoid some of that feedback. Feel free. I'll work on getting a better microphone in the future, but for the time being, I hope you enjoy the show and stay tuned at the end for my final thoughts. All right, let's go and hop into another one. So that was unfortunate, but it's our first loss of the night. I'm okay with that. Alright, this is the first time I've seen this good of a hand, I think, tonight. Maybe there was one other game where we got it. Maybe I'm just misremembering. We might have had a couple now. Been a long enough night that I would think so. Alright, third land there is okay with me, I think. We're just going to go ahead and double down on these guys here. What did he play? He's Temur, so he's probably going to Brazen Borrower's my Fox, but we'll just go ahead and enjoy the 3 damage we get from it. The way I see it, even if he were to... no, we're 8-1, actually. The way I see it is if he Brazen Borrowers here... I paid a 1 white mana for a Lightning Bolt, and that feels really good. I'm gonna see about... I mean, him not playing anything here could just be a situation where he just didn't have a good spell to cast. Maybe he has Bone Crushers in his hand and ended up seeing a Fox. So what I'm gonna do is actually play a healer so that I can apply some kind of pressure on the board even if he does bounce this thing. So let's go ahead and Frostveil Ambush cycle. No reason to worry about waiting. If he's going to bounce it, he's going to bounce it. That's just a fact. Even better. Yeah, that's fair. Does he have it? He's got something. Brazen Borrower! Alright. Never expected that play. Now, if he does have the Bone Crusher here, it's a little unfortunate. But realistically speaking, we're sort of in a bait his hand and see kind of moment. So let's actually go ahead and attack. If he has another Borrower or a Bone Crusher and taps out, I can then play Fox and cycle. He's thinking about it. Interesting. Okay. In that case, we're going to attempt to get a little bit more pressure on the board this way. We're going to go ahead and cycle a Crater to get a body. Hoping here for a land. Nope. Alright. Missing a land drop is kind of unfortunate here because it means we don't get to use Flare at all for sure. Lucky Clover. Does he have the second, or the fourth land, I mean. Okay, he took a shock here. So he can double down on either a Bone Crusher or another Brazen Borrower now. Yep. There are positives to this. This is one of the reasons why I played the Valiant Rescuer, is to get that token out. Let's see. He's at 13. These decks tend to not really have life gain. Not that I know of. Maybe I'm missing something there, but we're gonna go ahead and tell him we have it by going ahead and just shooting him in the face, not letting him untap. For all I know, they have some way in the deck to push through here. Okay. I do think I've seen versions that run a small number of Mystical Disputes, things of that nature, but he's going all in on this. They do come into play untapped, right? For a basic land, put it on the battlefield, yeah. So he still has plenty of mana available for things. Oh my god. Look at this guy go. Just gonna go ahead and get that point of damage in for fun. He does have blue mana available, just in the off chance, but let's go just try it. Tanook, I just have to say, like, I admittedly don't know full deck list. I just know that these decks play very instant speed. I've never seen them actually cast it, but it's always when I'm like, yeah, this deck doesn't normally run this card, that I turn around and get blown out by that very same card. I'm a paranoid person. I played a game of Limited the other day where I literally, like, every other turn was like, I hope they don't have Mind Rot, I hope they don't have Mind Rot, I hope they don't have Mind Rot. My fears live very actively in the forefront of my brain. It had nothing to do with cards that they actually had. They never cast it. I was just afraid of it. I'm always just worried I'm going to be very greedy, and I'm going to run against the one person playing that. Not to mention, not a lot of people are playing cycling right now either, but here we are. And of course I kept a very slow hand against a mono green deck. That Fox is a turn too late, but I do think it's okay to play it here because my opponent, while they may have something like Ram Through in their deck, they're going to have to double down to actually make that happen. I guess they could have Primal Might to exactly kill the Fox, but they'd have to tap out for that. Okay, so they have a Troll. Troll's 3/3, they attack for 2. I can block, but I'm going to take the 2. Let's actually go ahead and... This is a little greedy. I want them to think I'm missing a land, though, so that I can try to eat their Troll. I know they're not going to do it, but a man can dream. Okay, thanks for sharing that again. I don't know what's going on with it, but it can be problematic. So this does not have Trample, and this one cannot be blocked, right, by certain numbers? Or am I wrong? Oh, he gets Trample. I thought it was a blocking thing. Alright, in that case, we're just going to go ahead and keep cycling through for some damage. We did get another land in our hand here. Makes me feel a little weird. I was hoping for some red mana, to be honest. Maybe I'm supposed to just make a 5/5 that turn. He wasn't really likely to block anyway. Gem Razor. Okay, so he's going to be a 5/5 now, so that's 8 coming through. Woo! I'm about to be in a situation where I'm not going to be able to attack, which is unfortunate, but it's doable. I'm only playing this because I'd like to be able to stand in front of the Pelt Collector, if at all possible, while still chump blocking the Barkhide Troll. I can't decide if I'm happy or upset about that extra Valiant Rescuer here. He could have... Yep, I was gonna say Questing Beast would be really bad here. So what's my lineup? It's a race? Yeah. These guys don't... Well, no, he does have Trample, doesn't he? If I take 4 and I go to 6, I'm in really bad shape, especially if he finds something that, like a Ram Through, that can push damage on my Fox. I actually think the Fox is fine blocking here. It feels really bad, but I think it's correct. And if he follows up with another one, then, well, oops. Well, I got a red land, a little too late, but we got one. But I was never going to do anything about another Questing Beast anyway, so let's go ahead. We'll cycle one of these. And if we have to, I'm actually not upset about throwing a Rescuer at the other Troll here. I pretty much have to survive this turn. If he has Questing Beast, I can't block. But there's not really a good attack here. So basically, I just need to survive this turn, which might be a tall order. Yeah, no, that's an amazing top deck here. If I survive this turn, we've got a chance. But if he just plays like Questing Beast
anything else, I'm probably dead, because I can't really favorably block the questing beast. Oh god, what's this one do again? You can gain life, non-token creatures, battlefield, put a counter and draw a card. That's annoying, for sure. This is protection from multicolored and has trample, but I have a bunch of tokens to block with. Okay. Oh, no, I can't cast that and flare, so I think the extra point of life is more important here. Alright, so the annoying part of this is that I'm so close to killing this guy. The Zenith Flare is almost lethal. He blocks 2, he goes to 15, goes down to 3. That puts me up to 22. It might be right to pass turn here and hold the flare for anything else he has. I don't think they run any instant speed interaction with me. He can gain some life, so I'm probably not going that route. He's gaining 2 life a turn. Yeah, you're right. That's why I was saying I'm not really shooting at his face, but I wanted to see what he played. So he can give trample to things, but this already has trample. This already has trample. They can deal damage to creatures or planeswalkers. He could try to kill my rescuer, which just gains me 1 more life, and then he loses his Vivian.
I love everything from deer to dinosaurs.
I'm curious if he kills off my rescuer. Nope, okay.
Stomping time.
If his last card's some kind of pump, then I'll be sad about this, but... Okay. Okay. That is so annoying. Oh my god. Well... Oh man. This wasn't really a great play, but we had to do something. Like, that's all we had. We had nothing else to do. Playing nothing doesn't win me the game. Hinge is a game changer for sure. Yeah, it honestly changes a lot of the math. And not being able to attack into the Vivian there is rough. Maybe I was supposed to take, you know what, in retrospect, I made a major misplay. And you can disagree with me if you want, and that'd be good to know, but I should have taken the damage. What? What? Hang on, I'm gonna repeat this. What? Did he click on the wrong ability and go, oh no? Maybe he meant to click on the fight and just accidentally clicked on that one? Oh man, this hand is sketch. We do have a lot. higher chance of drawing a plains than we do a mountain, so I think it is safer to keep only mountains when your hand doesn't do a whole lot otherwise, but this feels pretty bad. We're on the draw. I'm going to allow one mulligan. Look at that. This is why I don't mulligan. Alright, we're going to put away just one of the... honestly, I can't cast it, and it's harder to cycle. We're going to put the Rescuer away. So, this is going to be all in on the Stinger plan. I don't like people who Fabled Passage first. Like, don't show me the basic mountain. Like, that's how I feel about that. I know this could still be any number of decks, but still. Paradiso Druid. Alright. Let's go ahead and play a Stinger. Probably not going to matter, but I just want to have it on board. And then next turn we'll have 3 draws to get our white land drop. Stinger represents a clock for sure, but if they just play something solid here, a big mutate or a questing beast, or they try to slow me down with a Bone Crusher Giant and attack for 2. Oh, Scavenging Ooze! Oh man. Oh man. I'm gonna go ahead and let him know. That's nice. I've been worried about seeing that thing, but I haven't said anything about it because it hasn't come up yet. He said, oops. I'm gonna say hello. Alright. Scavenging Ooze is a little bit on the frustrating side of life. I don't think I can cast anything. I think I need to just go all in on the cycling plan then. We're just gonna put as many cards in the graveyard as we can. Hey, okay. We are going to try to avoid putting creatures in the graveyard as much as possible. Interesting. I wonder if he... What is he respecting there, I guess, is the question. If you're not going to attack with the Druid, why wouldn't you just go ahead and eat something? Yep. Yeah, Scavenging Ooze is going to be a really hard card to beat. We should count ourselves fortunate that they are a dual-colored deck instead of mono green. It does mean they can only eat a couple cards a turn, but that still adds up very quickly. I do want to make sure I wait to cycle until the end of the turn for sure every time now, because I am going to still have to cycle creatures. What does our deck have that relies on so much red mana? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 puts me at 9. So they're not respecting Zenith Flare at all here. But my deck has made their play very strong as I continue to cycle into land. Well, it's been fun, boys and girls. Oh no! I can't win here. I just wanted to see this on the board one time. Terror of the Peaks. Oh, yeah. Well, it's only our second game loss of the night, though, and honestly, I think against a hand like that with a Scavenging Ooze, when your opponent just has the main deck answer to what you're trying to do, I'm not going to be upset about that loss. That's one of the downsides to best of one, to be fair. We have a Rescuer and Go for Blood, so we have potential interaction early game. Temur again, so should be probably the same stuff we've been seeing. One of two things that we've seen anyway. We need to see their hand. That's true. I mean, to be fair, Quirion Dryad. What? Oh my gosh. This is why I want to play Standard right now. There's so many spicy new things happening. Ugh, feels so good. It's nice to see variation in the format again. So there's a chance that if I play Rescuer, that they Brazen Borrower bounce it, and then just attack for 2. If they have Opt in their deck, maybe they Opt Borrower, and now they attack for 3. So it may be better to just wait to play it until I can at least get some value out of it. So let's actually just dig deeper with the cycles here. Okay, they took a shock, so if they have... Well, I don't know. I haven't seen a Quirion Dryad deck yet, so... Alright, no blocks. In response, what do? You have instant speed spells, you do nothing. Okay, good to know. We do have all the lands we need now, so let's not draw any more of those. Now, the reason I'm playing the Rescuer here is I'm hoping that my opponent... respects the Rescuer enough to answer it. If they tap out to deal with the Rescuer, I get a chump blocker for the Dryad. And then I can play Fox into a couple of Cyclers to get past this a little bit. But this is going to give it 2 counters, now it's a 3/3. Wow. That's 4 damage here. I actually think I block now, because if they have any kind of removal, this would be kind of awkward anyway. The Flare was a really good draw here. I think this is one of those rare cases where I'm absolutely okay doing this now. The only thing they have to get back is the Domri's Ambush, but they have nothing to target with it right now, and they don't have enough power yet to do it. Is Domri's a sorcery? It is a sorcery, but their deck probably has some things. I'm in trouble? I mean, you're not wrong. Let's do this. Let's see what they have. This is how you learn their deck, right? You make them interact with you. So I had the mana to cycle my whole hand. You have a feeling? No, you're probably right. My hope is they went all in on the Dryad and they just have no follow-ups. Alright, so at instant speed, they could have 2 removal spells, but I have enough stuff to make this happen. So let's see what goes down here. If they go for it here... Oh, they could have 3 removal spells, I guess. Do they run Scorching Dragonfire? Unsummon? Gosh. Alright, well, we saw another Flare. That's nice. Wow. Alright, Unsummon, man. That card has shown up randomly. By the way, I did look at that bird deck a little bit more. It's looking real good. So they could throw a shock at my face. If you're them, do you just shock here? Yeah. I would. I think you'd get aggressive. I guess they're worried about me playing the Fox back out. But at this point, I just want to make Flare really big. Yeah, well, and the fact that it's more like Izzet right now makes me wonder if they are sitting on any sort of counter magic. They have 2 cards in hand, and they have 2 ways to deal with Fox on their turn, plus the unsummon. It's when they attack, right? So they can unsummon the Fox anyway. I really think we're just all in on Zenith Flare and just hope they don't have counterspells. I guess maybe I was supposed to put Loris in my hand. They can't just keep attacking for 1, though. They've got to do something else. I think I want to dig long enough. I was just about to say to get a second flare that's big enough to kill, and just go for the end of turn plan. We're close. Of course it was a 2-drop one. Okay. They have all their mana available, so we just pass turn here. And we're going to go for the cycle flare plan. Yeah, I'm really hoping. We're looking at exact, even if they have some sort of interaction this turn. There it is. Okay. That was a matchup that I hadn't expected to see. Quirion Dryad plus Dreadhorde Arcanist. That's a pairing of cards right there. That was weak sauce. It was still fun though. I like to see innovation. I get bored playing against Growth Spiral into Uro every time. So all these different decks I'm seeing at least makes it more interesting. There's only so many times I can lose to a turn 3 Nissa, you know? Scared for nothing. Hey, look, I told you earlier, if they have open blue mana, I will be scared. That's just how it goes. See, they got a blue land. We're gonna have a moment in this game where I go, do they have counter magic though? Oh man. All right, well, let's let them shock my first Fox and see what happens from there. I don't think there's ever a game where I just don't play the Fox, right? Yep. And opt. All right, so their hand is going to be at 5 cards with the scry involved. Let's see if they keep it. If it goes to bottom, I would feel a lot better. He kept it on top, though. Maybe it was a land that he didn't know if he wanted still. I think in this situation, I want to just put bodies on board. A lot of these Izzet decks tend to have a little bit of harder time dealing with this unless they are running some kind of like Storm's Wrath build. Is it Prowess? Oh yeah, probably with all the cheap blue and red spells. In that case, I'm not going to be able to protect the Fox here. So I think the lower utility creatures are actually just a little bit better right now. I did not actually expect Quench. That was my fault. So the one time I did not fear the counter magic. Alright, so we know they have Quenches in the deck. They probably only have a few of them. You don't think they run all 4, do you? They missed a land drop, though. Huh. And they must not have any ops or anything to get in there. Okay, so I want to try to pressure the board, I think. Let's see if they have another quench. If they do, they didn't care enough about it. So let's cycle. Just get some bodies on board. Yeah, I figured frantic inventory, but if you're gonna miss a land drop, like, so this tells me that they might still have quench or something similar. Maybe they don't care about the rescuer that much. Because I think with frantic inventory, if I'm missing a land drop, I'm gonna cast that on my turn, right? It's not like inventory's any better as a instant if you don't have the lands. Okay. Gain a life, make a dude. Feel like that's a weird way to go about that, but okay. I guess they had the shock for the healer. They're not too bad off. They're at 10. Let's put Loris in my hand. They've got to piece something together, right? I mean, I guess if they clear my board of major creatures, okay. I was gonna say, they're not doing a whole lot here. Missing the land drop was huge. I really think you're supposed to main the frantic inventory. They ended up casting it anyway. If they could have hit that land drop, it could have changed it. But they missed their fourth also, so. Moko. Alright, so again, we are in a situation where we wish we were on the play. Oh, wow, okay. Oh no. I bet I already know what this one's gonna be. Oh no. What did he say? I'm gonna say hello in case he said something. So, I've played against a build using Yorion that played a whole lot of obnoxious stuff like this. And I had no fun playing against it when it happened. Ugin? You think they got Ugin too? I'm gonna sequence this in a different way than I normally would. Actually... yeah, I think this is okay. Maybe not, but I have a feeling that that extra 2 points of damage I would have gotten this turn is going to be more than made up by the Stinger if it stays on board. Oh, wow, they have... okay, okay. Oh, man, that's annoying. So, let's see... we do sort of want to just cycle all out, but I also think the other Stinger is really nice. But I don't want to play another Stinger onto the board because they're very likely just going to board wipe. Alright, well, we still want to go ahead and get all the cycle damage in. We are going to save our other Stinger. I think that's going to be very important for this matchup, potentially. If they don't have the board wipe, the Go for Blood is actually nice to get rid of their second wall. Alright, the question is, if they're running the wipe, such as Shatter the Sky... oh, Narset, okay. Yay. For 1 mana, they're not going to really interact with us here, so I think Go for Blood is fine. Long game indeed. You're not wrong at all. As much as I would like to walk into them wiping the board, I'm not going to play the other Stinger. We're just going to pass turn. We'll double down on the cycles. Hope they don't have it. Teferi's really annoying, unfortunately. It's a big old fox going bye-bye.
Right on schedule.
I mean, there's no point interacting with that right now, so... Okay. Alright, cycle this. We'll cycle the memory leak. Unfortunately, I guess we attack Teferi here just to keep him off the board. I'll hope I don't regret that couple of damage later.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
And I think Stinger's the best way to win this match. So I'm going to play another. And we're just going to cycle a lot, because that's representing 6 damage right now. In a lot of matchups with any sort of control build, Stinger tends to feel like it's just one of the most powerful cards that I can use. Flourishing Fox, probably not going to get to attack here at all, so no point worrying about that. We almost have lethal here. I'm not sure if we've got it. I haven't counted it out exactly. We're very close. Okay. Alright. Magic the Gathering, folks. Sometimes you just draw cards. A lot of clicking here. I wonder if he's gonna let me do this very slowly and painfully. I do appreciate that he's making me have it, so... Aww. I know I had the attack on board, but it's faster to cycle. Alright, Draenith Stingers. They are a magic card. We're 13-2 right now. Pretty wild. We lost to a Scavenging Ooze and something else. I don't remember what the other loss was. Was it the mono green deck? Was that the one that beat us? Or was there one like that beat us? I don't remember. On the draw, this seems okay. Not impressive, but... Yep, okay. Just wanted to make sure my memory was okay. Thought Erasure. Well, bye Zenith Flare. I'm really thinking this is not going to go well, because now that they've seen my hand and see how land heavy I am, there's a pretty strong chance that they don't bother with another Thought Erasure here. They probably just had the removal for the Rescuer before it's actually got value. Maybe that was wrong. Maybe I play the Fox. Okay, so they just did Uro, so he negates my Rescuer's first attack. Drew another Rescuer? What are the odds that they have Extinction Event, do you think? It feels pretty likely. With that being the case, we're going to play the Fox so we have diversification there. And we're going to be a little upset because we don't have another one-mana Cycler in hand, so this might be sketchy. Okay, we got one. Nice. Okay. Growth Spiral is a card. Another Uro. So they're very close to being able to get one on the battlefield. And we have too many lands in hand. Maybe they're just going for the Ugin again. All I'm gonna do this turn, I think, is... Actually, let's do this. We're gonna get as much damage in now as we can. I was hoping to hit maybe one more 1-mana cycler, but... We're in a position where we're actually really close to like a top deck flare being the be-all end-all. I know Ugin would exile my board, so it's not gonna be great. Nissa's really problematic. But she's not the end of the world.
Harness the elements.
Extinction event is almost the end of the world. I just want to note that if we were on the old companion rules, I was very close to having lethal here. He wants me to attack his Nissa, I think. So he gains 6 life this turn. That's part of why he didn't care about how that was played out. So he can just cast another one. It's a trap. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. If he just jams another Uro here, I think he's probably got the game. Because he goes to 10. And I won't have enough attackers to really get in there. But I think if I had attacked Nissa there, then I didn't have a chance to win. You know what I mean? Like, that 6 damage would have pretty much been completely nullified. He would be at 16 instead of 10 right now. Like, this is the closest I'm going to be, I think, this game. These guys having Vigilance was pretty obnoxious. I think all I can do is just cycle here. This is the best thing I can do. So I do have a flare. He's at 10. Well, yeah, attack for sure. I was sitting here and I was like, I'm gonna cycle this last rescuer because the only way I win is Zenith Flare, and in my head I'm just like, oh yeah, that's a Zenith Flare. Okay. God, man. Oh man. If I can get one more win here, I'll be real happy. I don't want to get a sudden losing streak where I go from 14-2 and I end the night at like 15-8. I'll still be here at midnight trying to get the 15th win. This hand's good enough. I'm on the play. It's got things to do. The sleeves are cool. Puppy. Alright, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's gotta hate that. I guess there's a chance he sees it as, well, no, he was at a low enough life. If I had the flare, I would have cast it, so he definitely knows it was a top deck. Let's go with the Icy. Hopefully that won't affect my luck here. Fireworks in the background are pretty loud. Whoa! I have not played against the Sacrifice deck today. To be perfectly honest, I'm not happy to see it. We're just gonna go all in on the cycling. At your house too? Yeah, it didn't start until fairly recently that I heard here, but... Priest of the Forgotten Gods, I'm not surprised by this. I'm not surprised by the sheer number of lands I've drawn so far. What I'm gonna do is potentially... Well, no, it's not gonna matter, I guess. I wonder if they just attack with the priest. Nope, they're not dumb. Okay. So there was a line of play where if they decided to attack with the priest, where I maybe would be tempted to Draenith healer fight the priest. But at this point, it's not looking like that's going to be a reasonable thing, and I'm drawing just non-stop lands again. We're really looking to win on the back of a couple of big flares. That's pretty much it. They're pretty much going to turn into mono black aggro here, though. That's what this looks like. Some versions of these decks run, well, not for best of one, I don't think. I was going to say some of them have hand disruption, but it doesn't look like that here. I guess maybe I'm supposed to cycle at the end of their turn, so that if they do have hand disruption, I can flare in response instead. I probably should have done Rescuer there, but it paid off. Oh, they have their own Loris. Nice. The 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 coming at me this turn, potentially. I've got my flare up to 10 right now. If they sack this into that, that's 4 extra damage that way instead. They can pump the knight though. It's gonna grow. I think this is a situation where, since they're mono black, yeah, the lifelink is gonna change the math on that for sure. With them being mono black, I think making a couple of chump blockers here is okay. Because they are not likely to have claimed the Firstborn or anything like that to take out my Rescuers. So there's a line of play where maybe you play Fox and cycle the other Fox to block the Loris. But if I have to, I am willing to throw the Rescuer under the bus here. We are all in on Zenith Flare right now, I think. Let's go with the full-on cycle plan instead. They got a lot of lands, which is probably not completely what they want. When it dies or is put into exile, return to the battlefield under your control. Yeah, I've seen this happen before. So in that case, we're okay with the fact that we're just going to chump the Loris instead. I don't like the life gain, but we can work around it, so to speak. Drawing the extra lands here is not great. And really, there's not much point trading with much of anybody because of Loris existing. We just want to mitigate damage as much as possible. Our flare's up to 12. I guess realistically, I should have expected that, and I should have blocked with the rescuer. That was a bad play on my part. I do think, regardless of anything else, I need to Flourishing Fox here. And by that I mean cycle it, just to get the most value out of this flare. So they've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 potential damage this turn. Like, we're just dead if we don't flare them this turn. And then we just have a few draws to try to get to it. We got like a 1 in 10 chance of drawing it per draw, roughly. Yep, get every bit of damage in you can, man. Oh, he gains 3 here from the Loris, but I'm up to 16 on this. That's not going to change the math. I'm really just in top deck here. I've got, what, a few draws depending on what I hit to get there. Yep. Barring any unexpected circumstances, if we do get the flare, we just win. I was about to say, he's got something that he can sacrifice here, but just drawing extra cards. Yep. Well, sometimes you draw 800 cards and win. Oh my god, Zenith Flare is so powerful, man. So powerful.
All right, we're back with a quick assessment of how I feel about Zenith Flare in the current format. I haven't played this yet in Diamond Tier all that much. We saw in the videos before we were in Platinum, we're making steady progress. I will say if we go based solely on results for the week, then I would argue that Zenith Flare is still a very powerful deck in the format. The overall wins during my official testing period of this, we had about an 80% win rate. So that felt very strong to me. 80% is a solid number to put up. It is not as high up on the ladder of testing as I would like, so I feel like that number will likely dip down to probably low 60% win rate in the higher up area. But if you think of it in terms of climbing the arena ladder at the very least, a 60% win rate is pretty strong, and it does mean you're going to win a little over half of your matches, so you should see progression up the ladder. And you'll have moments, you'll have times where you'll win 4 or 5 games in a row, and then maybe you'll drop a few games in a row. But Zenith Flare as a card off the top often can just turn a game around completely. We see that there's not a lot in the way of counter magic, which is honestly one of the few ways that Zenith Flare decks could lose, barring your opponent moving more aggressively than you. One of the biggest ways to shut down a deck like this one, this is basically a combo deck in a way. The combo is cycle every single card you can out of this list and get a very powerful flare and kill them. But on the flip side of that, there are a lot of things to take into account. There are decks that like to do things like loop black cats. They loop or kill off a bunch of serrated scorpions, gain a bunch of life. There's the veto deck that gains a lot of life in the mono black build. There are things like Scavenging Ooze that are now in the format that can exile your cycled spells, and it can gain them life. It also eats cards that Loris could bring back if the game goes long. So overall, like, Scavenging Ooze as a singular card is often powerful enough to risk me losing the game. There are just a lot of things like that that can come up that can be very stressful, very problematic, and I am looking at this as best of 1. So keep in mind that in best of 3, your opponents are sideboarding anything at all that's going to interact with that graveyard, aside from Scavenging Ooze. It could be a Soul Guide Lantern, it could be a Tormod's Crypt, it could be anything like that. They just have to save that for the moment you cast the Zenith Flare, and you probably lose that game. Probably. Having said that, I have had opponents who have named a Zenith Flare with a Runed Halo, and I still beat them. I've had opponents who have cast, there's an Ashiok spell, I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it will counter a spell, and then that player cannot cast that spell anymore. They've done that to my Zenith Flare. I've had people Thought Erasure every Zenith Flare that I've drawn, and I still killed them because Dryneth's Dinger and Flourishing Fox and Valiant Rescuer can all go the distance. Keep in mind that, for example, if you have 2 Dryneth Stingers on the board, as I did in one of the matches earlier, what that really means is almost every spell in the deck is now a shock that also draws a card. And I'm sorry, but for 1 mana, 2 damage and draw a card is very powerful. So if I had to say you're coming to Arena new or you're not sure what to build next, the one other consideration for this deck is, if you think about it, every single card in this deck is from Ikoria. So if you're worried about the longevity of the deck, of how this will put up in the long run, if you just want to be able to climb the ladder a bit, have some wins, some losses, you're not trying to win every single match, but you'd like to, this is a really good deck to build right now because it'll be around for a long time. Unless something weird happens with the format and this deck suddenly becomes the best thing out there, I don't see them banning Zenith Flare or Flourishing Fox. I don't think this deck is so powerful that it would get hit that way. So if I had to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, absolutely thumbs up. This is one of the most fun decks that I've played in a while, which might say something bad about me as a person, but I recommend it to anyone who wants to play it, and I just hope you guys have fun. So stay tuned in the future for more standard playtesting. I'm looking at some mono red list right now. One of my viewers suggested one to me. I'm going to be taking a look at it, tweaking it a bit, seeing how it feels. It's very different from the Obosh build that I was running in the past, but there's a lot of overlap, obviously. So I'm going to try to meet in the middle between those 2 lists and see how that goes. So that will be my next video soon enough. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you like what you saw, obviously drop a like below, drop a comment to let me know what I could do better in the future. Keep in mind that I'm aware of my microphone issues, but if you could recommend a good microphone, drop that link down in the comments below as well. And I will see you guys in the next video. Welcome to the family.